What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin.
And together we're last week's album. We're bringing you the only reviews with two different views. And this week we're talking about Teens of Denial by Car Seat Headrest. And we're asking the big question, will Car Seat Headrest give your eardrums indie rock whiplash on Teens of Denial? Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Car Seat Headrest is the moniker of one Will Toledo, who grew up in Williamsburg, Virginia, where he also attended William and Mary. Will has been plugging away, self-recording a lot of material and releasing that on the internet for the last couple years. He's really kind of honed his craft. Teens of Denial is his first recorded with an actual band, so kind of a change from his self-recorded past. Another interesting story is just that at one point he realized he liked recording music in his parents' automobile rather than at home, which kind of led him to adopt the name Car Seat Headrest. So now that we have that firmly in place behind our domes, let's talk about what it sounds like. Kevin, what'd you think?
Derek, I thought this record sounds like a bright-eyed teen hits the pavement, guided by voices and looking for the cars.
That's great. Oh, man, well played. Kevin, I think Car Seat Headrest sounds like the Beach Boys, the Strokes, Weezer, the Ramones, and Bass Drum of Death pureed in an audio mixer. Let's talk about some highlights. Kevin, what'd you think?
Sure. I think Car Seat Headrest really nails this addictive blend of DIY rough edges with some pretty smooth production at the same time. I think tracks like Fill in the Blank and Drunk Drivers, Killer Whales are really good examples of that, and probably the sort of catchiest, hookiest tracks on the album.
Fill in the Blank, I thought, was just fraught with really catchy melodies, starting with the churning electric guitar chords matched with machine gun snare drums. The vocal melodies I thought were especially strong. You know, the layered vocal oohs kind of harkening back to some pop punk sounds. There was also falsetto vocals, and just the way they kind of interacted and kind of around later on was just really fantastic.
Another part that really stood out to me was a sort of imaginative, inventive songwriting. No two songs really have the same structure. He's got this really sort of freewheeling style that he writes songs in, and I think that makes each one sound really, really unique and different.
One way I kind of noticed he did that was just the way he changed the seeming topics of songs right in the middle. Drunk Drivers, Killer Whales, I thought was the best illustration of that, where it really does take on two different topics at once, but really kind of shames both of them.
Yeah. Finally, I thought the themes carried through really, really well. We've got some boredom, some growing up, some modernity, and I think they're all sort of really well explored and carried throughout the album.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Vincent, I thought, was a fantastic example of that. You know, I want to kind of call the lyrics schizophrenic, but he would correct me as saying that's for clinical depression, and I would retort, well, it helps to describe it.
Good get for those of you who jumped into the lyrics on this album.
So let's talk about some lowlights. Kevin, why don't you start us off?
Sure. I thought it was a little too self-indulgent at times. Lyrically, it could be pretty self-absorbed, and musically a little overambitious. I think while all the songs are good, some of them definitely could have been shorter or maybe even left off the album altogether. While we mentioned the themes carried through, they might have been beaten to death a little bit. And I think some of the tracks just get a little too freewheeling and a little too overambitious, and he could have reined it in a little bit more.
I totally agree. Just one example, the Ballad of the Costa Concordia. I think at 11 minutes and 30 seconds, they definitely could have saved all the women and children by the time that song finished playing.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so that brings us to the overall rating and asks a big question. Will Car Seat Headrest give your eardrums indie rock whiplash on Teens of Denial? Kevin, why don't you start us off?
Sure, I will start off answering the question, will this record give your ears indie rock whiplash? I would say yes, but thank God for airbags. I think when it comes to rock music, Whiplash is actually a good thing. You want that jolt of energy, and this album definitely has it. I think he's an amazingly insightful lyricist. I think he can definitely write some hooks and some guitar riffs as well. There's so much going on here. It's kind of nice. You can kind of tune in and tune out at your leisure if you want to. I give him props for being so meticulous and ambitious, but I don't think he needed to go as far as he did. All that being said, I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5.
I think we're going to agree and disagree on some parts here. To answer the big question, I think we're in total agreement. I think this is a nice jolt to your eardrums. It's a good Whiplash. What an interesting songwriter he is here. Some of these tracks are a little bit longer. On one hand, could mean he has a lot to say, but on the other hand, he has a lot of interesting things to say. These lyrics are very relatable and often touch on current subjects, as we kind of alluded to earlier, the Costa Concordia, and the way he kind of draws parallels from his own life to that real-world event, I thought was very intriguing. I thought this is great music to kind of throw on as you're doing work or other type stuff. Definitely kind of kept me moving. So I really like this. Car Seat Headrest, my eardrums will be rocking out to them. So I'm giving this one a 4 out of 5. And with Kevin's, that's a 7 out of 10. So go check out Teens of Denial by Car Seat Headrest. Thanks again for watching or listening to us here at last week's album. We're bringing you the only reviews with 2 different views. Don't forget to subscribe here on the YouTube or to the podcast. As always, I'm Derek.
And I'm Kevin.
Cheers, guys.